today where we bridge the gaps of diversity and work together to destroy ignorance before it destroys another life. And today I have a guest with me. Guest, can you please share your name with everybody?
My name's Corey.
All right. Hey, Corey. Can you hear me okay? Because I hear a little background. I just want to make sure.
I can hear you okay. I can turn down my volume.
No worries. I just want to make sure. It's been recording really weird. All right. So you share with us your name. Your name's Corey. Where are you from, and where do you currently reside?
So I was born and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I am currently in Bakersfield, California.
Awesome. And what ethnic group do you identify as?
I would say American, but people don't like that. So Caucasian.
Whatever you want. Okay, and then what's your age if you're willing to share?
I'm 31.
31. Okay, cool. Oh, someone said it's echoing. Oh, man. Well, I hope this records well. I don't know what to do in life. I don't know how to fix the echo.
Is the echo me?
It just says you're echoing, but I feel like they were talking to me because I asked. But you can put in the chat, tell us who's echoing. But we'll go ahead and get started and pray that this comes out clear. Okay. So thank you for introducing yourself. Can you tell us something about you that's not necessarily your day job, but maybe your talent or passion project?
Talent. I don't know if it's a talent, like a secret.
It doesn't have to be a secret.
Well, so I'm like a level 2,800 on Candy Crush.
Special.
Is that considered a talent?
That's what you want to share with us? It sure is. I've never played Candy Crush. I heard it's pretty addictive. I guess so.
Yeah.
That's. Let me see. Don't hear echo. Okay, it doesn't hear echo anymore. Okay, cool. Thank you for feedback. So I know that I share with you that I want to talk about Germany. I'm very excited for you to share with us about Germany, about German culture, because I know that you lived there for a while and it's part of your what did you call it? Culture or?
Well, my generations ago, I'm related to Germans.
Yeah. So, can you tell us maybe what Germany is like as far as the food, the culture, and the environment? Like, what is it like?
So, Germany, I would say, is when comparing to like the U.S., is a very clean culture, a very community-based culture. So, by both those standards, like you will never go to a German supermarket and ever find a cart outside of the cart corrals. If you go to Walmart here in Bakersfield, probably there's more carts in the parking lot than there are cars themselves. In Germany, if anybody were to ever even just prop their cart on a curb, you probably have an old German lady come yelling at you and scolding you for that. So they're very clean in that way. They recycle all the time. Everything is recyclable. Very community-based organization, so they love to get together and basically drink beer, because that's what Germans are known for. So they get together in their small-town festivals, and they'll do like 4 small-town festivals a year to bring the whole community together, whether it's a town of 500 or a town of 10,000. They always will have these festivals to bring everyone in. So
I just hear that German for beer commercial. So that's not like a stereotype or whatever. That's like legit.
Oh, they have
like that.
More craft brewing than we do, because basically they may have like a few, like our Bud Lights of the world. They have a few of those Paulners and things like that, but most of the time a German will drink the beer from their town, and there'll be like 2 or 3 breweries in their town.
Oh, it's all local.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Well, a lot of it's local. That's cool. Well, I'm sure that helps keep the, I guess, like, the historical element of the culture to share that way, and that's pretty cool. I'm a foodie, so I want to know, like, what's some good German food?
So German food is very much like pork-based, usually. So there's a lot of schnitzel, which is like basically a pounded down pork, and then it's fried. You have currywurst. No, schnitzel would be on usually just served on its own. A currywurst, though, is like basically a sausage that's doused with curry. And so maybe that could be on a stick, but really there's not much that's on a stick that I saw. But then they'll have weird things like a pork knuckle, which I never was adventurous enough to have. And
what is it?
It's literally like the kneecap of a pig.
Okay. All right.
And then they also love to eat fish where like they just fry the fish up and then you have to take the bones out yourself. I just find that to be a lot of work, and you're always pulling bones back out of your mouth, so I just didn't enjoy that. I'm used to deboned fish of the U.S.
Yeah. Is there a lot of water out there? Like, I didn't know it was like fish popular kind of food.
So up to the north there is, because it borders with the channels, but mostly Germany down to the south is all landlocked.
Okay. Oh, that's really cool. And I didn't know that curry was a part of the cuisine either. I always known it for like island food and stuff.
Yeah, when I say curry, I guess I mean more like a ketchup that's spicy, I guess. Less so than like an Indian curry.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
So.
And then, what did you say? Oh, I thought I cut you off. And what are the people like? I mean, you told me about the old German lady, but what about the other people?
You know, so one thing too is that it's basically the neighborhood watch everywhere. So anybody and everybody gets looked at as you walk down the road, especially if they don't recognize you as a neighbor. They're going to just stare at you the whole time and just see what you're doing. But they're friendly, especially in the areas where I was. Some are less so friendly to Americans, but like I went and lived in an American town. So like my landlord lived right underneath me, spoke German and English. And so she'd always help me with anything I needed and was always there for me. So friendly culture, they're willing to help, but they do have high standards for you. So.
And speaking of high standards, so I have been like hanging out with you before, and you have a high standard for the environment. Do you want to share anything about that and where that comes from?
I just have always. I mean, it was just something I was raised to do. My parents, we always recycled and everything, and then like if we tried to throw trash on the ground, my parents would smack you upside the head and say we don't do that. And so I just have grown an affection to the environment, going out, spending time in nature. And so when I go out in nature and I see all these people who basically just want to party, and then they can bring a case of beer to the party, but they can't bring a case of empty cans away from the party. You know, It just actually makes me angry. I'll say that it literally makes me angry, but I do find it a little therapeutic to pick it up with my trash grabber and clean it up.
That's cool. Did you happen to name your trash grabber since they're your companion, or no?
No, I haven't named it, but I did buy an American-made one though.
Okay, well, hey, there's not too many American-made anything, so that's
right. I was amazed to find it because there's so many Chinese ones, and I paid extra to get an American one.
Oh, man. That doesn't even make any sense, but I know what you're saying. It shouldn't cost more, but...
Hey, it's really good quality. You'll have to use it one day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I did go out in nature with you. Where would we go? We went to Sequoia National Forest. And what was it? What was the trail? The 100 Giants?
Yes.
Yeah. And you did pick up trash that I support you in prayer. I couldn't touch it, man. I couldn't touch it. But that's really awesome. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And do you have a PSA for people who litter? I'm just kidding. You don't have to say anything.
Well, my big mantra is, if you can't pack out your trash, then stay at home.
Okay, there you go. And would you call yourself an environmentalist at all?
In some sense of the word, yes. Like, I'm not. There's extremists to it, so sure. I do think that we need to take better care of the earth. I don't necessarily think that we're completely destroying the earth per se, but we do have an obligation to just not live in trash and filth. And then, especially, we've been sending trash to third world countries, so we don't see it here in America, but some third world countries are being affected by it. It's polluting their waters and things like that. So we have an obligation and a responsibility to clean up after ourselves and use less and try to think a little bit more environmentally friendly.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I don't know what you're talking about when you're saying that we ship our trash. Can you please explain?
So you should watch.
Like a lot of gas.
There's a Netflix documentary with Bill Gates, and he kind of goes over some of the stuff.
Okay.
So you should just watch that. But yeah, we've been shipping recyclables to other countries. We don't recycle them locally, and then also shipping trash out in some cases, or we don't want to dispose of it ourselves in America, so we'll ship it out to other countries, especially e-waste.
Which is, what's e-waste?
Electronic waste. So when we throw away our laptop.
I have my house is full of dead electronics because I'm scared to throw it away. I don't want to throw it out. I feel like either it can just be fixed by one tweak or find like some school to donate it to or something. I just don't. I know it's not going to go anywhere good if I throw it away.
I do the same thing. That's why Thomas and Emily have my own old laptop right now. It sat in a box for 2 years before it got turned back on.
Okay, so it was working and you fixed, or did it not work and you fixed it?
Yeah, it was always working.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I have things that aren't working here.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get rid of them. But that's cool. Like, at least you held on to it, helped someone else.
Yeah.
I'm probably 55% tree hugger. I'm a little bit of a hippie. So I think, yeah. Thank you for your PSA. Let's see here. I want to ask you another question. Here's something else about trash that I want to ask you. What do you think, or why do you think people throw their trash right next to the trash can?
I don't know. It's the same. When I was in college, it always dumbfounded me how my college campus had recycling bins right next to the trash can.
Yeah.
And somehow inside the recycling bin, it was full of trash, and in the trash can, it was full of recycling. And it was like, we're in college. We're supposed to be getting a higher education, and we can't even read the right bins. So
they might have just got high, and they didn't get the education, and that's why it was mixed up.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's an easy thing to do. I'm one of those people where I'll hold a plastic bottle and try to find a recycling bin. And when I have to throw it in the trash, it actually kind of hurts me. But I realize that that's a better option than just tossing it on the ground.
True story.
So.
Yeah. That's true. I actually started recycling more. You'd be proud of me. And then I find random people to give it to.
Yeah.
I'm like calling people like, hey, do you recycle? come to my car. I have something for you. It's not weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool though. Let's see. Do you feel like you're someone that cares about other people and like so this is more of like this is away from trash, but it's connected because you care about the environment. So that's what I'm asking you. Do you feel like you're someone that cares about other people?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I do care about other people. I care that people are successful. You know, I'm in charge of people, so I want every single one of them to be successful, safe in the work environment, you know, and everything. I think, and then I'm courteous to everybody. I'm always consciously, sometimes overthinking things where I say yes ma'am, no ma'am to, you know, drive-through workers, and I don't get angry very easily. I realize that maybe they have a stressful day, you know, let's just try to talk through this problem and figure things out. So I want other people to have good days, you know, nothing, you know, can't wait. There are times where you gotta, you know, obviously put your foot down, but most of the time you can, you know, take your time, make sure everybody's comfortable and you aren't stressing someone out.
Yeah, I think that's solid. Just to be mindful that people are people, even if you're trying to receive services from them, like it's like a drive-through or something, that we should be considerate about the people that we're interacting with on a daily basis. It's like on these diversity chats, we want to encourage people to build community and to see how we can bridge the gaps of diversity. Sometimes people are looking down at other people because of job titles. And to be able to say, hey, like, just because you're serving here at this restaurant doesn't make you any less human or any less worthy of, like, respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
no,
I'm glad.
I completely agree with that, because I think, you know, in some cases people who, you know, yell at a drive-through worker, in some ways they think, oh, you got a worthless, useless job. But, hey, you decided to come to that company. They have an important obligation. They're going to give you food. You know, there are times where people they're not being respectful back, but you got to just realize, even the janitors, I mean, come on, they're silent workers that clean offices, and so you can come back into your office and have it nice and clean. They're thankless. Nobody ever says thank you to a janitor. So you know, you got to look at everybody and realize their roles. And I think a lot of people don't realize their roles and what the bigger picture of how that feeds everything.
That's a good point. Yeah. And like you said, you never know what kind of day. I feel like you said this. You never know what kind of day someone's having. So just being courteous, like saying thank you to the people that maybe have thankless jobs, or saying yes ma'am, no ma'am. I mean, some people get offended, but it's still choosing respect over disrespect, and that's a better option. Let's see here. So I like the answer. Thank you for sharing. How do you see the world? Like, how do you see the world?
I don't know how you, like, in general, I think that a lot of people just don't listen to other people. Social media, I think, has really corrupted the world. I think people look at social media, they only read headlines. Once they read the headline, they think that's a fact. But the headline typically is not the full details. I think we're quick to judge people and condemn people before we get all the facts. And so I really just think the world needs to take us. I'm an analytical person, so I always look at, like, if somebody posts a video and it's only 10 seconds, you're like, well, there's a longer video of this. You can tell it's clipped and cut. So what's the rest of the video? And then, a week later, you get the full story, but by then it's too hard to change. Like, that's already ran. Majority of people are going to run with it, and keep running with it. And so I'm like, take a step back, calm down, trust the systems. It's okay to question the systems sometimes, but majority of the time the systems are in place and they actually work pretty well. So yeah, it's just kind of my worldview in general, it's across all spectrums. I've talked to, it's a weird story, but I picked up some Russian girls at the Hollywood sign with my little brother. They were trying to get back down. They didn't have any phone signal, and we were up at the Hollywood sign, so we're like, yeah, we'll take you back down to the main strip. And so we were just talking about, because there's relations between the two countries of ours, and we both are like, that's big politics, but we as people, we were cool with each other. So
that's really awesome that you guys were able to have that conversation. And it seems like all of a sudden opportunity, but you took it, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but I don't want to say anything else about that. How do you think the world sees you?
Nowadays it's hard to say. Sometimes I think people throw a label on people just because of what they look like or their opinions they have, and I do have some opinions that for some people they go, oh wow, well you're X, Y, Z. But the reality is I try to think that I'm looking at a bigger picture of the country as a whole and everything. But I do have a job that pretty much the U.S. population respects, and so I think when people see me in my uniform, so I'm Army, in my uniform, that people know the sacrifices that we make for the most part.
Yeah, and thank you for your service. Do you care how the world sees you?
I'm kind of more on this page of I just want the same courtesy and respect as I give out. So, but in some ways, you've seen me what I wear. Like I wear plain T-shirts. I'm not a stylish guy. I'm not trying to get the world to, recognize me and, idolize me or anything like that. So I don't really care. For the most part, I want to be able to just live my life, and just, get courtesy and respect that I'd expect to give to anybody else.
Yeah, that's cool. I wish I could bottle some that I don't care and then drink it when I need it.
Yeah.
Because I have a few friends in my life, they just don't care, and I think it's a gift that I don't possess naturally. I'm very sensitive and very hypersensitive and hyper aware, and you see me like, oh, do you care if I do this? Does that bother you? Da-da-da. And I hate that I feel like I have to navigate the world that way, but there's just so many people that are super offended, hyper offended.
Yeah, and in some cases, when you've asked, it's a courteous thing. That's all it is. I think more so when it comes down to looks and having, I don't know when my mindset changed about that. I did think I needed a nice car, and I did think I need to buy better clothes, and I spent money on all that stuff, and then I realized no, this doesn't didn't change anything is really what it was. Really, it kind of just was all the same, whether I was in nice clothes or not. So then I was like, why am I spending all this money when I can just feel comfortable in things that I like to wear? And, who cares what anybody else thinks? Chances are I'm only going to see some of these people one time in my whole entire life. Why do I care what they think of me?
That's true. I do dress a little bit more free when I'm traveling because I know I probably never see these people on the plane ever again. But I don't have that. I don't care, and I just need to bottle it real quick. But I think that's really cool that you're able to do that and ask people basically to treat you how you want to be treated, how you treat other people. And my previous guest said something similar, so that's really cool. I have another question, and we're almost done. Let's see. What types of biases have you noticed against your demographic, and what are your thoughts about it?
So the biases that I've noticed against my demographic is nowadays, if you speak out any opinion, you're considered a racist, a Nazi. You know, all these words just come at you, and nobody's listening to what your actual opinion is, or wants to actually hear a statistics or a fact, or try to hear another side. And so that's what I've heard. What was the second part of the question?
What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, so my thoughts are, when somebody just immediately goes to throwing a name or a label at you, that, you know, it's not, they're not trying to understand something or trying to understand your viewpoint, a new opinion. They're really, that's just a sign that they're shut down. They have no argument. They don't want to hear anything, so they're just going to start to label you, try to get you fired up, try to spew hate at you, and then get you to blow up, and then that way they can go, see, I told you so. And
yeah, that's unfortunate.
So I try to stay pretty apolitical on things. That way, you know, nobody gets offended. I'll still make sure people know when they go too far right, too far left, for my taste. But
yeah, well, I'm sad to hear that happens to you, because you should be able to voice your opinion and be heard. And like Thomas said on his chat, to seek, and I think Emily too, just to seek to understand when you're talking with someone, that it shouldn't be like, I have a preconceived notion, or I've already made up my mind, so whatever you say, I'm already going to call you whatever. You know, it's really good to be open-minded, and definitely why we're having these chats on this platform, and hopefully inspire people to do the chats on their platform a different way, because this is my style, but whatever is appropriate for them and genuine. Because I don't want to see my friends, like, you're my friend, I don't want to see my friend, like, abused or attacked, whether it's because they're white and people think they're racist automatically, or because they're black and they think they're a threat, or they're another ethnicity and there's another stereotype there. I just want to destroy that. I don't like that that's happening. And there's a lot of people that are just not, like, confrontational, like Shay was saying on her chat. Like, not everybody wants to have an argument. So sometimes people feel like when you're quiet, they fill in the blanks for what that means based off of their own preconceived whatever. So thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. Let me see. I think I have one more question, then we're done. What's another culture out there that you're connected, or that you've connected well with or felt drawn to?
So I've traveled all over the world. I mean, Germany, down in Bavaria, knowing those Germans, like, I got some friends back there, so I love that area. But in terms of, like, well, it's not really drawn to the people, but man, Iceland, gorgeous. And Iceland's got some good policies out there for their environmental. They're harvesting the volcano gas and turning it into energy and stuff. So I don't know too much about the people, but that mindset of how can we use what the earth is already giving us, ultimately God giving us, how can we use that to our benefit and change how we do things? So I like that when we're innovating and we keep thinking. Those are the kind of people that I want to be around, is people who want to figure out a new way to do something and not just keep status quo.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I think I shared with you before, I was watching a show on Netflix, and that they were, like, cooking bread in the ground because of the volcanic, I don't know, the heat must have been from the land. You could cook eggs and bread under the ground. It's crazy.
Yeah.
One day, me in Iceland. One day! Hopefully it's not the day of the volcano eruption, but,
Yeah,
one day I want to go.
risk.
It's always a risk. Even Yellowstone, right? All right, cool. So I'm going to do my closing. If you have any thoughts or any last words you want to share, anything we didn't touch bases on regarding diversity, please share it. But I just want to thank everybody who tuned in with us today on Diversity Chats, where we bridge the gaps of diversity and destroy ignorance before it destroys another life. And thank you for my guest, Corey. And did you have any closing remarks?
No, really the only thing I would say is I just urge people, have a conversation. Don't immediately throw labels. Try to just be friendly with everybody. Say yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Just be friendly, respectful. Try to brighten somebody's day.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for those closing remarks, everything else you said. I hope you have a great day. See you later.
All right, bye.